Okay, good evening and welcome to the September 14th, 2023 meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission. Hearings before this commission are quasi-judicial in nature. This is a design review process to determine whether a proposed project is congruous with the special character of the historic district or landmark in which it is located. Decisions of the Commission are based on the record of these proceedings, the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks, and the Secretary of Interior's Standard for Rehabilitation. Evidence submitted to the Commission for review will become part of the record. Appeal of a Commission decision must be submitted to the Wilmington Board of Adjustment within 30 days of the Commission's action. Further appeal must be submitted to Superior Court. Evidence pertaining to an agenda item must be presented during the evidentiary portion of that item. Individuals who wish to address the Commission will be sworn in as witnesses to present material and substantial evidence. The Chair will recognize each witness who wishes to address the Commission during the evidentiary portion. In order to ensure the witness evidence is properly recorded, we ask that each individual come to the podium and clearly state their name and address before addressing the Commission. As a brief reminder, members of the Commission are appointed by and serve at the pleasure of City Council. Our charge is with respect to the protection and preservation of properties located within the city's designated historic districts. The Commission is held to the requirements of the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic Districts and Landmarks, as well as applicable North Carolina state law. We are to determine whether exterior changes to a building are congruous with the special character of the city's historic districts. It is important that the Commission deliberate the merits of each request in a manner that provides a record of the basis for our decisions. Please remember our deliberation should be centered on how a project meets the Wilmington Design Standards and whether the changes requested are congruous. Commissioners, if you have received or been made aware of any information outside this evidentiary hearing related to any agenda item before the Commission, please recuse yourself from the agenda item. Before the meeting begins, please ensure that all cell phones are in silent mode or turned off. At this point, I would like to introduce the members of city staff who are here to help us this evening. Ms. Melissa Huffman, Assistant City Attorney, Brian Chambers, Assistant Planning Director, Jessica Baldwin, Historic Preservation Planner, Megan Basic, our Associate Planner, and Amy Bradshaw, our Planning Coordinator. I am Kathleen Egan, the Chair of the Commission, and the other members will now introduce themselves.
Stephen Sulkey.
Ashley Wilson.
Ross Tomaselli.
Allison Watts.
We will now carry on to the administrative portion of the meeting, and we will swear in those present who wish to present evidence related to an agenda item tonight.
If I could have all staff, applicants, and members of the public who wish to speak tonight or have an item going before the Commission to please stand up and raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Members of the Commission have been provided with a draft of the minutes from last month's meeting. Are there any suggestions or corrections to the draft minutes?
I don't have any. No.
Then could I have someone make a motion to approve?
I motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed, so that passes. Okay, then we will now move on to the evidentiary portion of the meeting. And our first agenda item is old business for a project on North 15th.
The applicant for 111 North 15th Street proposes to construct a new garage. The subject property is located on the southwest corner of North 15th and Chestnut Streets. The dwelling's front facade faces North 15th Street, and the garage's front facade faces Chestnut Street. Both structures are contributing resources to the Carolina Heights Winnetka Terrace Historic District overlay, and only that which can be seen from the public right-of-way, excluding alleys, is subject to design review. The Kirby Smith House, built circa 1921, is a 2.5-story, 3-bay wide, cross-gabled colonial revival-style dwelling. The standing seam metal roof is punctured by 3 pedimented dormers, each with arched 6-over-6 windows. The central dormer features a curved pediment. The roof overhang is adorned with shallow modillions and a wide frieze band. All facades have 9-over-9 sash windows on both stories, and the north, south, and west facades have exterior end chimneys. The symmetrical front facade features a central open pediment hooded portico supported by a neoclassical frieze and paired Doric columns. A herringbone brick walkway leads to the central 6-panel entry door, which is flanked by divided side lights and a divided light transom. The cross-gable wing of the dwelling features a 6-over-6 windows. A 1-story auto garage constructed 1923 with a composition shingle roof was located to the rear of the dwelling facing Chestnut Street. The applicant appeared in front of the commission in July and requested a waive in the stay of demolition for the removal of the fire-damaged garage shown here. The applicant proposes to construct a new detached garage in the rear yard. The new garage will be constructed on the existing foundation and will be approximately 508 square feet and measure 26 feet and 5 inches by 19 feet and 3 inches. The proposed garage will be approximately 12 feet in height, which is similar to the existing garage and will have a 7/12 slope matching the existing garage. The proposed garage will be clad and trimmed in KWP Eco-Side engineered wood with the lap siding revealed to match the existing dwelling. The siding will be painted bare cottage white, and the trim will be painted bare cherry cola. The proposed garage will have 2 entry doors on either side of the southeast corner. The door will be a masonite 6-panel fir exterior door painted bare cherry cola. The proposed garage will have 3 gelled win V2500 series vinyl fixed picture windows measuring 36 inches high by 30 inches wide, painted bare cherry cola to match the trim and doors. The proposed garage door will be an overhead door company 440 series wood door. The proposed roof will be a standing seam, metal 18-inch flat panel in galvium, and the overhang will have 6-inch half-round gutters. Staff notes that the garage has been altered prior to the historic overlay designation and would like to enter its report in its entirety in the record of tonight's proceedings at this time.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Do you know the siding will be smooth? Because it shows green in the picture.
When we talked with them, the engineered siding is supposed to be smooth, but just to be safe, we did include it as condition 6.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we will now give the applicant the opportunity to provide additional information or answer questions if required, or if you would like to.
Hi, I'm Jeff Litzinger, 111 North 15th Street. So I'm able to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Yeah, we tried to get you everything you needed.
That's good, yeah. You did, it
Okay.
was fine.
Good.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Now we will open the evidentiary portion to members of the public. Okay, then we will close the evidentiary portion and move to deliberation. It's fine. Okay, could I have a motion then to approve?
Want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I move to approve with conditions the construction of a new accessory structure. Details as shown in the drawings, plans, photographs, submittals, and narrative statements contained in the application and submittal materials and statements made at this meeting are part of the request unless otherwise noted. The motion is based on the evidence presented before us, the application submittals, testimony, staff reports, including the findings of facts. The following conditions shall be applied to ensure compliance with the design standards, those set forth in the staff report 1 through 8. The proposed request with conditions does comply with the Wilmington Design Standards for the historic districts and landmarks, is compatible with materials, features, design, context, and character of the historic districts and historic district in which it is located, and is congruous with the site, streetscape, and historic aspect of the historic district residential as a whole, all applicable design standards.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Motion passes. We will now move to new business, 217 McCray Street, a project for residential infill.
(217 McCray Street). The applicant proposes to construct a new two-story dwelling. The subject property is located on the west side of McCray Street between Grace and Chestnut Streets. It is a non-contributing resource in the Historic District Residential, and revisions to all facades of the building and the site are subject to design review in this district. The subject lot is 3,642 square feet and is located approximately 100 feet south of the corner of McCray Street and Grace Street on the western side of McCray. The property has an existing brick boundary wall along the eastern McCray Street property line that extends into the adjacent property to the north. The applicant seeks to construct a new two-story dwelling. The dwelling will be 73 feet, 10 inches long by 23 feet, 1 inch wide, and have a 1,704 square foot footprint, and then will take up approximately 48% of the lot coverage. The proposed setbacks are 10 feet from the rear exterior stair and approximately 21 feet from the rear facade. The dwelling will be set back 4 feet 7 inches from both the north and south side property lines, and the setback along the front varies between 10 and 15 feet due to the angle of the street. The proposed overall height of the building is 31 feet 5.5 inches. The proposed building will have a CMU and brick foundation that will not exceed 2 feet 6 inches, and the brick will be triangle pine forest. The dwelling will be clad in hardy board painted waterfall in a vertical board and batten pattern. The proposed soffits will be hardy vented soffits, and the trim will be a Miratech composite trim, all painted arcade white. The proposed fascias will be 1x8 pressure-treated wood and painted arcade white to match the trim. All proposed windows will be Gerald-Win W3500 double-hung colonial 6/6 sash SDL aluminum-clad wood windows in brilliant white. The majority of the proposed windows measure 36 by 64. The proposed front and rear porches will be supported by Endura stone fiberglass Tuscan-style columns, and the upper porch floors will be Hacienda rustic cement tile, and the porch ceilings will be clad in PVC B-board. All proposed doors will be Gerald-Win authentic wood exterior door 5209 with a glass panel SDL 9 light door with transom windows above the front, and the front door will be painted for Cynthia. The applicant proposes to install a 5-foot-high picket fence along the side and rear property lines as shown highlighted here in yellow. The applicant also proposes to install a brick patio and water in the front yard and a brick patio with a water feature in the rear yard. Here the photos show both sides of the street along McCray and Grace. The surrounding local historic district contributing properties on the 200 block of McCray Street are single-family dwellings that range in scale from 1 to 2 stories tall and feature full width and stoop-style porches. The neighboring setbacks are varied, mostly along the western side of McCray Street, and they range between 0 to feet 3 inches. And they're all approximately 7 feet along the eastern side of McRae, which consists of the Polygot townhomes. The dwellings on the 200 block of McRae Street all have one-story porches and, oh, I just said that, sorry. It's a day. The Historic District residential contains some of the finest of Wilmington's high-style and vernacular residential structures. Currently, there is a stop work order for a peak entry that was in the process of being removed prior to the applicant's submittal of this proposal, and we are working with the applicant and zoning staff to see that that is settled once it's gone through the design approval process. And staff does note that the proposed brick and concrete front yard is not typical of the HDR. Any other questions?
Question?
Okay.
Is the applicant here?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
And there's full-size drawings over here if somebody didn't see something.
Okay. Okay, we will now give the applicant the opportunity to provide additional information or answer questions.
Good evening. My name's Sam Guidry. I'm the architect with Guidry Coastal Architecture, and
Yeah, my name's Alberto Diaz. Nice to meet you all.
he's the homeowner.
And Ramiro Diaz, I'm working with the architect.
And we don't really have anything to put forth other than what we've presented already. We'd like to also thank the staff because they really were very helpful. If you have any questions, we're here to try to answer them to the best of our knowledge.
Yeah, on the front, as was just stated, it's not typical to have that kind of a brick paver thing in the front yard. And I was kind of curious, it seems most homes from the front gate, wherever that is, it's a direct shot to the front door. I mean, why did you design it where you go into the gate and then have to make a hard left?
Well, we were trying to utilize the existing brick, well, I don't know, can you put it back up? We wanted to maintain that existing structure, the little brick wall area, and there was one portion of the brick wall that had been damaged, so we were going to repair that damage and just meander our walkway into it. And my client is a native of Brazil, and he likes potted plants, and he wanted to have a nice, comfortable front courtyard and a nice rear courtyard.
Okay, it's just when it's raining like 30 inches a second, I usually like to make a fast run to the front door and not have to go down the sidewalk.
I agree with you on that one.
And that's why you want the brick pavers in the front to put potted plants there instead of just typical in-the-ground planting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The ground could be
Okay.
pots, I mean, big
Yeah.
pots, either one, either way.
Okay. The only other thing is the board and batten. I mean, you realize most homes in the historic district are clapboard, horizontal siding, not vertical. Why the board and batten design?
It's really my preference. I think it looks better, looks, I don't know, more elegant, in my opinion.
Okay.
And, so,
We want to fit in, but we don't want to create what I call the Camp Lejeune effect, where they all look alike. But we
Semper
wanted
Fi,
to-
guys.
Architecturally,
Okay.
we want it to fit
Okay.
within the community.
What's
Okay.
going on with the pecan tree?
It's got to come down. The house is going to be right
The
there.
pecan tree's in the middle of the property, and the applicant had started the process to remove the pecan tree and didn't realize that he needed a COA and a tree removal permit and some things like that, so he got a stop work order. And then after a discussion we had with him, and they were planning to build on the site, we suggested to just go ahead through the design approval process so that then we can work with the zoning officers to get the tree removal situated properly and mitigated properly.
You might want to see if somebody wants that wood, too. Somebody might want all that pecan.
That's some good firewood.
Well, it's also good wood for
It's
furniture.
also good furniture wood.
Just don't throw it away. Don't put it in the
No.
landfill.
but the main the tree is still there,
Yeah.
and most of the branches are cut off right now. But
I know. I visited a lot.
Yeah, but,
There's no grass anywhere around.
That's my question, too. All these polka dots, is the entire property going to be cement?
No, that's all grass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all that's all.
That's grass?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
good, okay,
Yeah, no, we're not into turf or concrete.
okay.
yeah, so
That's a
that
relief.
front brick, I mean, I like it. We talked to Sam here to figure there's a way to keep it, because I think it looks pretty.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I am from New Orleans, so I enjoy that linear and that nice, that's,
Okay, all right. And the other thing, impervious square feet, I mean, did the building department, it seems like they're adding more impervious surface on this plan. Did they say anything about that, stormwater or anything? No?
The lot's not big enough to go under stormwater review.
Okay, all right, it does, all right.
Okay.
Okay. And then the existing driveway from, I mean, I looked at this whole thing, so this existing driveway is going to butt right up to the foundation of the front of the house?
it's a shared driveway. Right
Yeah,
now, it's
it
existing.
seemed,
and
okay.
These two neighbors are going to have to become very good friends. I
They're
think.
going to have to be, because that's a really
'Cause
tough
they've already
situation with a single
discussed,
driveway.
yeah, so technically, I spoke to the owner of the next house, and, I mean, technically speaking, that's, the driveway's on, most of it on the side of my property.
Sir,
So,
I'm going to need you to step to the microphone.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, what I said was that the driveway is, I guess when they decided to split the property and sell the land, they never made put the driveway as an easement, okay? So it's, most of the driveway is on my side of the property. So because of the size of the house and the size of the lot, I really can't use the driveway. So it's going to be just maybe the front, the neighbor's going to have to be the same way, but he and I can talk, but technically speaking, I don't have to share the driveway with him. So, because the lot is pretty narrow as it is.
Oh, yeah.
If we keep the driveway, it's just going to make the house way too narrow. So, as it is, I think we only have, 5 feet of,
Yeah.
so most likely that driveway is not going to be used.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, Rest of us are, okay.
If the
Okay.
board and batten doesn't bother me, I think that's a nice way to do something a little bit different, but still kind of fit in. I think the roof line, like the second porch, looking at the surrounding houses, it seems like they're all kind of lower, or they have like a single-story porch, which I think Jessica mentioned. And I think I might prefer it with like a lower front porch instead of the double-decker. Like, it feels kind of New Orleans-y. That would be my only kind of complaint.
Okay.
And I kind of understand like I like in the rear yard how you have like the water feature with the small area of brick. I think you could do something similar to that in the front without doing like all of it as brick. I think like leaving some grassy areas in the front could be nice and kind of fit in a little bit more.
That's kind of what we were doing. It's not well shown, but that circular area here, that was going to be probably a green patch.
Oh, okay, so,
Okay. That helps.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll open the evidentiary portion now to members of the public. If anyone would like to comment or ask questions?
Good evening, everybody. Travis Gilbert, Historic Wilmington Foundation, 211 Orange Street. I think it's a lovely project. The board in Baton, I think, is going to complement the Chestnut Street Presbyterian Church within eyesight. My only concern rests with those brick pavers out front. Unfortunately, the dimensions were not provided of that patio, and it's not lost on me that connects with that shared driveway. And I would like to recall the design standards state that it is inappropriate for parking to be in front of a building. And I just see the potential after a few years of that brick patio becoming a brick driveway, and then we have an enforcement, we're adding to the plate of code enforcement. And that would not be fair of staff. The design standards say that landscaping should be congruent with the neighboring property. There is one non-contributing structure just south of this property that does have a garage and parking out front. That is unfortunate. I do believe that takes away from the character-defining features of this neighborhood, in particular when you take into consideration the only row houses in the entire city are directly across from this property, and they are preserved quite well. You had a project come before you just about a year ago that beautifully added square footage to one of those row houses in the back, in the rear, protecting those character-defining features. So other than that non-contributing structure, all other properties on this block have impervious, landscaped flower beds, gardens, lawns, etc., in between the front of the property and the public right-of-way. So I do believe that brick patio is in opposition to the design standards related to landscaping, public right-of-way, and driveways.
Travis, I think if you looked at the row houses, though, there's about 3 of those at least that have either a brick or a paver front, no grass. Did you notice that?
I did, and that is a very new phenomenon. When I swung by, it's been a minute since I visited that property. I was trying to imagine if a car could fit in that, since the dimensions were not provided, and just through my observation that perhaps that is possible. And I did notice Bob Jenkins' old townhouse has a patio in front, and I know Bob didn't do that. But lovely project. Just wanted to express some concerns about that brick patio.
What would your suggestion be, to have a detailed landscape with the design standards included, and we could delay that part of the project?
Perhaps there could be an agreement tonight to put into the public record dimensions and ensure that no reasonable vehicle could fit within the dimensions of that brick patio. That might be the best solution here. You could enforce just landscaping, but there is nothing that's conditionally holding this applicant to that barrier of bushes and that circular feature in the center, other than at a bypass, which would be on staff. And I think it just warrants attention. But it's a lovely project. I just don't want to see more parking in front of this urban area. And I recall when y'all were at the convention center, there was a large discussion about that in the 500 block of Nunn Street, and it was deemed inappropriate.
If there was a brick wall feature that kind of continued around that corner that could prevent a car, would that?
That's what I was thinking too. If they continued the wall over to the corner of the house, made it really an enclosed courtyard look. If they have enough of those brick to match, I don't know.
I leave all this to the commission. I just wanted to express my concerns.
Okay.
We share the concerns, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll close the evidentiary portion and move to commissioner deliberation.
I'd like to ask the applicant I'm assuming the 5 bushes on the plan are in pots because you're sitting on brick. Am I correct? There's bushes, it looks like on the plan, but are they in the ground or are they in a pot on a paver? Anybody?
You're going to need to come to the microphone, please.
Our concern is that it not become a driveway in the front of the house. So we're trying to think of how to ensure that doesn't happen.
They're in the planner.
They are in
So
planner.
there's no plan to use that as a.
They're in the
parking.
ground then,
They're on
those
the ground,
bushes?
right. So, we haven't thought that far out as far as the landscaping, but, I thought the idea of having some big planters, they'll look great, but we can also put on the ground. It's one of those landscaping things that is rather
Right.
talk to somebody that knows the landscape and give me some suggestions what to put there. But that area, the pavers could be grass as well.
Okay.
In fact, or maybe that's even cheaper to do just grass, to be
Is
honest.
is there enough matching brick? I know the one wall was knocked down when they were doing the other construction, but is there enough matching brick to maybe add a little wall around there and along the driveway, or is
Probably not.
probably not?
We would probably have to use a new product, which
Right. It's not going to match.
is not going to match.
Jessica, if we had a condition that the landscaping would ensure this did not become a parking area, then the actual details of the landscaping could go through bypass, couldn't it?
Yes, ma'am. There's already a condition that knows all landscaping and fence plans should be submitted
Right.
and get approval because we didn't have exact locations on where the fence is ending either in terms of the side lot. So that was our way of covering for that. That
Okay.
can incorporate that parking or that courtyard as well. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay.
All right.
All right, so we could do that as a condition then to,
Okay. Well, apparently, okay.
okay. That work? Yeah. Okay, all right, thank
Any
you.
more questions?
So what we were going to do was just put in the conditions that you will submit a landscaping plan to Jessica
Okay.
to ensure that this is a planted area and not part of the driveway,
Got it.
okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we would need to add that to one of the conditions. Okay. Yeah, do you want to make a motion?
I move to approve with conditions the construction of a new residential infill dwelling. Details shown on the drawings, plans, photographs, submittals, narrative statements contained in the application submittal materials and statements made at this meeting are part of this request unless otherwise noted. The motion is based on the evidence presented before us, the application submittals, testimony, staff reports, including in the findings of fact. The following conditions shall be applied to ensure compliance with design standards.
It's already really in there.
Yeah, okay, it is, okay. I didn't, oh,
So the landscaping is already in there as one of the conditions,
Condition
but
3.
we want a condition,
we want to condition the condition, I think. The following conditions shall be applied to ensure compliance with design standards. Those set forth in staff report 1 through 8, and the following additional conditions. Landscaping plan to ensure it is planted and not to be used as a driveway.
right.
The proposed request with conditions does comply with Wilmington design standards for historic districts and landmarks, is compatible with materials, features, designs, contexts, and character of historic buildings and the historic district in which it is located, and is congruous with the site, streetscape, and historic aspects of the historic district, residential as a whole. 1.6, Secretary of the Design Standards, 2.1, landscaping, 2.3, fences and walls, 2.4, walkways, driveways, and off-street parking, 2.6, decks, swimming pools, 2.8, archaeology, 2.10, public right-of-way, 3.1, roofs, 3.2, windows and doors, 3.3, masonry stone, 3.4, underpinning, 3.8, exterior color, 3.9, utilities and energy, 3.10, health and safety, 3.11, security equipment, 4.2, new construction.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Okay, then we will move to the next agenda item, which is 518 South 3rd.
The applicant proposes to install vinyl windows. The subject property is located on the west side of South 3rd Street between Church and Castle Streets. The subject building is a contributing resource to the Historic District residential. Revisions to all facades of a building and the site are subject to design review in this district. The DeRoss Chadbourne House, built circa 1898, is a two-story Queen Anne-style dwelling with a side passage entry and projecting front bay. The one-story, full-width front porch features a hipped roof supported by paneled piers and has a simple balustrade. The main entry door is a 5-panel wood door surrounded by sidelights and a transom, all featuring a losange tracery pattern. A second 3-side bay projects from the north facade, and both the front gable and north gable end feature alternating rows of spaced and cut and staggered butt shingles, as well as lunette fence and decorative sawn brackets. All 4 facades feature 1/1 sash windows of varying sizes, and a colored glass circular window is located on the north side facade. The applicant proposes to remove 3 wood single-pane 1/1 windows from the second story of the north side bay and install new windows. All 3 windows shall be Window World 4000 series double-hung, double-pane 1/1 vinyl windows. All windows shall be installed in the existing openings. Shown here are examples of windows found throughout the dwelling. Staff has observed that many windows are wood, and while not listed on the 1997 COA issued, they were replaced around that time. Staff has observed there are several vinyl windows installed, but an exact number is not clear. Staff would like to enter its report in its entirety into the record of tonight's proceedings at this time.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
You know when the vinyl windows went in?
There was not a COA issued. The applicant did provide it's in the attachments, a receipt from the previous owner about windows being replaced in the 2000s, but the exact number was not provided.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, we will now give the applicant an opportunity to provide additional information or answer questions.
Thank you all very much. So we've owned this house now for almost a year.
Before you go anymore, can you just give us your name and address so we can get it in the
It's
minutes?
Barbara Dalto, and it is 518 South 3rd Street. So we've owned this home for about a year now. It's a rental property, and we have these 3 windows that are non-working windows and need to be replaced. So they're in a bedroom, and they require egress. And my concern really is that I want to get it done as quickly as I can because it's in a bedroom that children are sleeping in. And I'm really nervous about, God forbid, there's a fire or something happens and they can't get out because the windows do not open. So I have these windows, they're ready to go. I don't really would prefer not to have to go through the process all over again and wait 3 to 4 more months for windows to come in. They match all the other windows in that whole upstairs apartment. They look the same. None of the outside trim is going to be affected. None of the inside trim or moldings are going to be affected in any way. It's strictly so that we can open and close the windows and get people in and out. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We will now open the evidentiary portion to members of the public. No? Then we will close the evidentiary portion and go to commissioner deliberation. All right, I'll be the one to say it. You can't put a vinyl window in an 1898 house.
Ropes and pulleys will fix it.
Ms. Wilson, can you speak in the mic?
Ropes and pulleys will fix those beautiful windows. Much cheaper and easier than vinyl.
I don't know, there's some pictures in there. That, I had somebody come out to look at them to see if they could be fixed, and they told me they could not be fixed. That, I don't know what it's all called, inside there is broken, and there's, they just said to me, you can't fix this. You have to get new windows. I would have rathered fix them because it would have been cheaper, but they told me it was not doable.
These are the original windows,
No, these are replacement windows. They are
Okay.
not the original windows.
so they might not have ropes and pulleys if they're already taken out.
Yeah. Whatever the inside, whatever it is. These are
Okay.
replacements of the original, and I'm just trying to replace the replacements, I guess.
Well,
Yes, staff thinks that they got replaced in the late 90s because there was they did a whole big renovation on this
Okay.
project. And the COA doesn't mention windows, but in a lot of the photos, like some that you saw in your packet, all the windows are taken out and some things like that. And it appears that that was probably, they got replaced. So like the pulley windows and that kinds of thing, I don't think were there to begin with.
gotcha, okay. Well, the problem is this, the historical design standards very specifically say wood windows, not vinyl. And I think in the packet, they have several examples where they've been denied vinyl windows. And we certainly cannot start a precedent, especially directly against the design standards, and say vinyl windows are okay. I mean, I wish before you ordered windows or whatever, you had checked with Jessica or somebody, and they would have kind of given you the standards.
When I was looking at all the paperwork, I thought that because I wasn't changing the molding or anything around the outside, or the inside for that matter, that I was just trying to create, replace the windows, that it wasn't an issue. Because I've dealt with the, COAs in the past and
Right.
gone through the approval process. And I'm just really, again, I'm really concerned about the liability of not having egress out of this child's bedroom.
Okay.
There may be also architectural salvage may have some windows, the actual original windows that maybe could replace some of these windows and can put it back into original form.
Well, that may be so, but I think it's the guts of whatever is in the walls and around it that they said, is not doable anymore. And I appreciate, what you guys are trying to do, and I'm really just I'm just nervous.
Well, okay. There's several manufacturers of wooden windows like Genwell that we recommend, or not recommend, but they're brought up here all the time. And that's normally what's used to replace an existing wood window.
I went to, I don't know I'm not a
Window person.
carpenter or a window person. So, I went to Home Depot, and they said they don't even sell wood windows anymore. And so I went to Lowe's, and they said they do have some, but they're hard to get, and they're like more than double the cost. So they are all going to vinyl windows because of the cost effectiveness, and also because even when I had them come out and look at them, they recommended vinyl because they said the expansion and the contraction of the wood windows makes it hard for them to open and close. So I just was listening to what, people were telling me. So I'm just, like I say, I'm just really scared about, the liability of having a property that's for renters, that, God forbid, there's a fire and they can't get out, that's lives.
I think Travis might be able to help you. There are a couple of lumber stores in the city that have wooden windows in stock. I know because I had to replace one of the ones in my house, and it was right after Hurricane Florence, and you just couldn't find anything anywhere. But the lumber store came up with a window that fit that weird opening that I have. So I just can't remember right now who it was, but Travis will probably know what suppliers we have in the area who can help you get a wood window fairly quickly.
Okay.
Are there windows in currently?
Yes, we put back the original, well, the replacements, they put them back in,
Okay,
but they don't open.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? No? Okay.
Okay.
And can I have a motion?
I'll-
Go ahead.
Okay. Where are we? Sorry, yeah. I move to deny the installation of vinyl windows. Details as shown in the drawings, plans, photographs, submittals, and narrative statements contained in the application of submittal materials and statements made at this meeting are a part of the request unless otherwise noted. The motion is based on the evidence presented before us, the application submittals, testimony, staff reports, including the findings of facts. There are no conditions because it's a denial. The proposed request with conditions does not comply with the Wilmington Design Standards for Historic District and landmarks, is not compatible with materials, features, design, context, and character of the historic buildings and the historic district in which it is located, and is not congruous with the site, streetscape, and historic aspects of the historic district residential as a whole.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Okay. That's the end of the evidentiary hearing. Do we have any items from anybody on the commission?
One thing, I don't know if you all do this, but because tonight we just had this infill house, I've looked at all the ones that have been approved over the last year to 2 years, and I think really overall, they look good. I mean, there's several more lots I see that when I walk around the historic district, I kind of wish somebody would come with a plan. You know, I mean, other than bulldozing trees and putting up condos in Wilmington, these are already building lots in a residential area. But yeah, I think what we've approved, like I said, these are all good-looking homes. So if you ever get a chance, check them out. But
They're very nice.
yeah.
Okay, any items from staff?
Good one.
It won't take long. So as some of you may know, the city of Wilmington is planning to cut down a series of trees on Market Street between 12th and 21st. And Aaron Reese is here today to answer any questions y'all may have, but the state, NCDOT, state, what is their title? Architectural historian has asked to inform you all of this plan since they are within the Wilmington Historic District as well as the Carolina Heights and Carolina Place District. But Aaron can speak more to the condition of the trees, but there's the long here between 12th and 15th, 19th and 21st, and 16th and 19th. I apparently got them out of order, but you get the idea.
On
There's, Aaron can answer, but I think 19 trees total.
Wow, okay.
So if y'all have any questions, do you have any questions about that? This is like an informative thing. They're diseased and they're falling on cars and they're causing a lot of safety issues around New Hanover High School and some things like that.
Do you know what they're going back with? Do they have plans to replant?
They do have plans to replant, but I don't know the specific trees.
Okay.
Okay.
My neighbors, I have been inundated, and my neighbors are not happy about it. And I think that basically, if we knew that when they come in and they take out a lot of the trees in our neighborhood, they don't replace them. and Carolina Heights. And, you know, they just leave, sometimes they don't even grind them, they just leave that. They planted dead trees.
I'm gonna let Aaron speak to all of that,
Okay,
because I
okay,
don't know.
yeah.
I'd try to stay out of trees.
Okay. Trees are important.
Come on, Aaron. You got to explain why you plant a tree and don't
There's
water it
some
during a
mad
drought.
ladies in Carolina Heights.
I would be glad to answer questions.
The main concern is, are they going to take them all down at one time? Are they going to put quality trees back, you know, and take care of them? Do we do an adopt a tree? What do we do? Because, you know, we look at plans and, you know, I look at the corridor that's traffic slowing down Princess, and it looks awful and not maintained, and we have trees that are, you know, just cut off and nothing is replanted, and that is, and how can the community help? How can we help? And, you know, I think there needs to be some discussion because they're very upset.
Sure, I completely understand. So all of the trees, there are 19 trees that have been identified, 17 that we know for sure need to go because of their condition. They are a public safety hazard. The other two, we have to do further investigation. They may or may not be removed. We have to do an aerial at height investigation of those, and then we'll make a decision on those. But 17 for sure that we know of along this corridor. The replanting plan between 17th and 21st will be replanted with live oaks because that was a continuation of the project with the DOT. If any of you have been in town for a while, about 9 years ago, it was a DOT project that took down 10 trees, I think, in that corridor between 17th and 21st. And that plan was to replace all of that particular section of Market with live oaks. So we will be continuing that pattern in that section from 17th going back towards town all the way down to 12th would be this project area. There is a variety of trees planted. It's not all one species. So we will be looking at each individual site when those trees are taken out, and it will likely be a mix of medium to large maturing tree species.
So is this the city of Wilmington's purview or the DOT?
City of Wilmington.
Because I'm not quite sure. I think was the DOT, I think it was the city of Wilmington that did the traffic slowing that didn't slow any traffic.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, and nothing was, you know, we're concerned about replanting. You know, you can replant really nice live oaks that are done, or you can stick a stick in the ground.
No, per our presentation to council, our replanting, everything that we replant as part of this project, it will all be contracted planting, so they will be under warranty. Watering will be included in that contract. We will be planting a minimum of 3-inch caliper trees. So not tiny trees, but not huge trees. Plant 3-inch caliper. They're big enough to make an impact, but small enough that they'll still establish quickly. So if we go any bigger than 3-inch, they have a tendency to lag for 2 or 3 years before they really take hold and start to grow. So if we plant 3-inch, then
This corridor of Market, are the power lines above ground here? Where do they run?
power lines are underground except for in front of the National Cemetery. There's one block there where there's above ground power on the cemetery side.
Okay.
And we did recently have a contractor up here a few months ago take out several trees in front of the cemetery, and those will get replaced this planting cycle as well. Those will not be replaced with live oaks because of the power lines. They'll be replaced with the smaller maturing species, but they will get replaced.
It's just frustrating. I mean, you planted a live oak in front of the high school in the hottest, driest possible weather. Nobody watered it, and it died, and now it's struggling to come back from the root. And I've seen that about 2 other times.
We have had some issues with contractors.
Yeah, I mean, it's called the fall. I mean, wait and plant it when it's, and another thing, my neighbor is having a fit because on Chestnut, and I don't understand the logic, they come out and they grind a stump, and 30 feet down the street is another stump, and they leave it. and then gone. I mean, you think you would like do a quadrant or something, but
It's a little more complicated. Would take a little longer to explain that than I have time
Okay.
tonight. But addressing the stumps, though, we also made a presentation to council. And at council's directive, we will be putting together a contract for all of the stumps that we currently have backlogged.
Okay.
Money has been identified for that,
Okay,
so that
cool.
contract will be going out fairly soon. So once it goes out, once it is let to a contractor, because of the sheer number, it's well over 300, close to 400 stumps that'll be on that
there's
contract.
a lot, yeah.
It is a huge contract, so it will take quite a while, so that's probably going to be a 6-month contract timeframe for them to work through all of that, just because of the volume of it, but that is being addressed.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, but I mean, I agree, some of these
awful.
trees are killers.
And-
And
and,
I know they're gonna,
They plan to have any kind of community meetings or anything to let people know what's going on?
There have been two presentations to council, one at a work session, or one at a Monday morning briefing, and then at a full council meeting. There will be signage put out ahead of time, a week or two ahead of the project along the corridor at various intervals to let the public know what's going on, what to expect. This will be kind of it'll be partial to full lane closures as they're doing the work, just for a safety standpoint. Because of the size of the trees, we need the entire space. So the contractor that does the work will need the entire space to do the work safely. Right now, DOT has agreed to do all the traffic control for us, so it'll be kind of shut down 1 or 2 blocks, do all the trees in those blocks, and then move. So it'll be a little bit sequenced. We won't shut down the entire corridor all at once. It'll be a block or 2 at a time until it's done.
what do you have, like 2 tree crews in the city?
If we are fully staffed, we have 3.
3.
So you can't, you can't just like do it in a slower manner and maybe cut some limbs off and,
Unfortunately, the condition of these trees, they are beyond pruning. Pruning would not be effective, and given the species, most of these trees, actually all but one of these trees are actually laurel oaks. They do not respond well to heavy pruning, especially when they're up in age like these are. So if we did heavy pruning, we would actually cause them to decline even quicker. So we would just have to come back and repeat the process soon thereafter.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I have one last item for the group, not to do with trees. Last week, or when was it, August 24th, Chris and I went to this Certified Local Government Commission training up in Washington, and there was a lady there. I just wanted to let you know about this. It's called America 250, and the North Carolina Archives had a representative there who's going to be working on this project, because in 2026, the country will be 250 years old. And so each state is going to set up its own, all sorts of activities and things. And so it was the first I had heard of it, so I thought if anybody wants to know more, I'll give you the information on it. It's early stages, but it sounds like so apparently North Carolina is having some kind of competition with Ohio. I don't know why, but
Airplane thing.
yeah, probably having to do with the airplane. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so it's already gotten competitive, but it sounds like it's going to be fun. So, okay, any other business? No? Okay, so I'll make a motion to adjourn. I got a second?
Second.
We're good.
All right.
Thank you.